Hello, and welcome back to the review for Glitter. We are on, I think we're on part 3 of this. So now she is in bed with him. I was getting back to the point that I was saying that some of y'all are going to be able to sleep with your spouse because of the fact that, don't get it twisted, go back to what I said in the previous one. Y'all going to elope. And because you eloped, but because of the way that God has dealt with you, there is an attraction between them and there's an attraction between you. And you don't know how intense this attraction is until you get around this person. And there are things that they're going to do that are just going to turn you on and drive you crazy in a good way. And vice versa. That if y'all don't get married fast, there's a standing point that because you are actually in a phase of heat, meaning you coming up on pregnancy time, this man and you are probably going to be all over it. So, yeah, be aware of it. Go back to my Breaking Dawn review. But here's the caveat. Is that why I saw that episode last night? Okay. Um, there's a series of events that is about to take place here that you're about to see this guy start to act a little crazy. I remember Tamar Braxton did I mentioned this before. She was on the reel, and when she was on the reel, she made the point of sometimes they can't be that good because if it's so good, they start acting crazy. um, yeah. So they working together, and you slowly start to see him become a little bit more controlling of her. It's not that he's extremely controlling, it's the fact that he knows how people are in that industry. But his attitude, because he's sleeping with her, kind of has him in a state of mind. And you may have to watch this about your God ordained spouse, because depending on their level of insecurity that you're going to have to work with them on. Remember, we supposed to be praying off these triggers, right? Some of them may see you getting attention in the spaces that they're bringing you into and start to have flashbacks, okay, to what others have done to them that they could not trust. That you ain't thinking about that stuff, but they see you even interacting with folks. They may have even got you to a point that you dressed in right, and they got your look together, and they got you out here looking real good before everybody, and everybody's starting to get that attention upon you. And because of that, their energy starts to change because they're more, I'm protecting you, I claimed you, stay up off my stuff. And you may see a part of them or a side of them that you wasn't expecting to see, because you're like, wait, you're the cool one, you're the nice one, you're the, why has he got this element of about this? I'm be even honest enough to say this. I have seen my guy make a statement once. Somebody came at him left, and he intelligently put them down. They might not fight nobody, but they are going to have the words that are necessary to put somebody down. You're gonna be safe with this, brother. So when they go to A&R about the song, there's this new song that they've been working on, and they're in the studio working on it. The A&R people are there, and they testing it. They did a test run, let her hear it, and she was like, "All right." And it's like, "We need you to sing it, but we want you to sing it your way." And she was like, "Okay." She went in the booth and she sang it. She put it down the way and she pulled some of the backgrounds off and all that confusion. And then they went in and they added it the way that they wanted it to be in there. And the A&R people loved the single, and they put it forward for video recording. But just like the industry do, you had, okay, we're going to go over this whole scene, okay? Follow me. First thing, the treatment for the video was whack as hell. Pardon my French. It was whack. There's some stuff that you're going to go into these industries and you're going to have a vision for, and they're going to want to put treatments to the thing, and you may have a vision for it, and it's like, this is no, but they're like, we're paying for this, so you go with this treatment. And if your goddamn spouse ain't fighting like that, and this guy was actually fighting, he's like, no, she's not gonna walk up. No, she's not. Your goddamn spouse is gonna be a beast in relation to you in whatever field you're called to walk into. If that's his wheelhouse, oh, he's gonna fight. He's gonna fight for you in that. If he got you, he got you. But if it's not his wheelhouse, he's gonna connect you with somebody that is their wheelhouse, and they gonna fight for you like that in that wheelhouse. But he's gonna be standing there. But for him, if that's his wheelhouse, oh, he's gonna be like a rabid dog in relation to making sure that you ain't mistreated in that scenario. Don't you dare back up. Pause. Let's get back to chess games. When you are going into these places, as you walk across the chessboard, move by move. Some of you want to go straight across. It's like, I see my goal, let me go straight across. And you got a dang spouse that's saying, you got to stay over here. Do not separate yourself from the king piece, because the king is protecting you. Yes, as the queen, you have good moves and good strategy. But if you go across that board, you are now entering into enemy territory and you are surrounded. Stay next to the king. How many times I had to say this? Stay next to the king. Because if you stay next to the king, he's going to be able to protect you. Because you know what the producer wanted to do? The producer turned around and said, yeah, I don't really like what she has on with the rat and stuff. I'm going to need her to take that off. And she only had on a bikini outfit, which was barely there. And it looked like they went and changed that so that the top was a little bit different. And they went and blew her hair and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, and he was fighting the whole time. He's like, no, her hair ain't going to be like this. No, them guys are all, they got their arms and hands on her too much. Blah, 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 blah. This is your goddamn spouse. He gonna fight for you like that. No, they're not gonna exploit you. No, they're not gonna do. If it's his wheelhouse, he's going to protect you in that. While there are other people that may have authority. The person producing the video or directing the video had authority as to what his vision was. But her boyfriend had authority to say, I'll drag her behind out of here. What you think this is? And that's the authority your spouse is going to have. If he wants to shut it down, he'll shut it down in a minute. That's just the position that he got. He's like, we'll figure it out later. And that's exactly what he did. But they ended up not doing the rest of the shoot because that guy was just being ridiculous about all the things. And he was like, she's uncomfortable. Can you not see that? He fought for her discomfort. He was like, she's uncomfortable. We're not doing all this. Their assistants, new people are coming in. There may be people that come in that they're supposed to handle your schedule and all of this kind of stuff. They're the people that are meant to keep things in order, but understand, because they're meant to keep things in order, they don't have the rule over who you talk to, when you talk to them, and how you talk to them. Because they try to pull that foolishness too. Be careful of the people that are supposed to be the people holding and handling your schedule. The handlers of this stuff. Be careful of those people because they sometimes were not listening. The next day, they're at the studio trying to work on some more stuff, and he's getting irritated. This is when you see him getting frustrated about her, and he's talking about she ain't gonna be walking around here wearing this, that, and the other. Some of your goddamn spouses may now. You gotta look at how you are. Me, I'm not that push up broad, kinda all that type of stuff. Even if I wear a top that has a see-throughness to it, I got a good coverall underneath of it. I'm not exposing my body like that. If I wear a dress, I know that I ain't got boobs like that, so I'm not going to be wearing the dress that's going to push my boobs all the way up to my throat. Because I ain't got them. So, I'm not going to be wearing nothing that's going to be making my goddamn spouse be like, what the heck you doing? Now, I got nice thighs. So, I know my asset is my legs. I might do a cutout on the side of the dress. But you're not going to see all this. Now, in her case, she did have everything out in those photos. And he's like, why are you walking around looking like this, that, and she was giving him a look like, what is your problem? And even yet, and still, if you end up being a little bit more exposed and your husband is frustrated, he might look at that and be like, put on some more clothes. And you're like, I ain't really not wearing nothing. What are you talking about? But it's like, it's not even that he mad at that. He recognizes your beauty in total. And he's like, back up off that. Because he knows that even that, you have a unique exoticness about you that even yet is still, that if he can see your beauty, he knows others will try. So he may even come on you about certain things that you thought was fine. Just listen to what he has to say. Give him the air to breathe it. If he feels that it's a little bit of an issue, don't be out here acting a fool in a bikini or whatever it is that he may not be like, I don't want to see you all out here like that. And some of it may just be helpful to ask him what he wants you to wear in certain scenarios. Meaning, you will give him the option of this. It's like, I put on this if you want me to put on this, but I feel comfortable in this. Where's our medium ground? And he might end up pointing out the one that covers you up more. It's like, here, put that one on. It's like, oh, okay. Let him. Listen. Understand. Some people get offended at them and telling them that kind of stuff. It's like, I know my look. Some of you have that Sade about you. That when you put your clothes on, you don't even have to do anything excessive. Your looks make people look at you just because it's a nice little thing. I remember one time I walked out, I had on a dress, and the dress I had on had, it was a stripe, very slim, wasn't even an inch thick. I ain't have no boobs out, no nothing. When I tell you cars were passing me, it was an A-line dress I had on. Cars were passing me honking their horn. It was an A-line dress. It wasn't nothing. Nothing was showing. And people were just honking. Had on a little bit of makeup. I was going to some type of event that evening after church, and I'm like, yo, why are you honking out your car? For real? And sometimes your other spouse to recognize those things. What else? Uh, so there is a level of comfort that the guy, but he's under pressure anyway because that guy's hanging around. He's lingering. That the guy that the group was taken from, he's lingering, and he's like, "Oh, is it not what you thought it was gonna be? Is it not that easy? I mean, and this is how say operate. Gonna be in your god ordained spouse's head, trying to tell your god ordained spouse that give him doubts and fears and frustrations about certain things that he's bringing you into. Just pray for your husband, please. Especially if he start acting a little worried, confused, pressed, stressed out. Give him what he need in order to calm down. Talk him down. Love him down if that's what you need to do. Be married when you love him down. But yeah. So with that being said, they want more tracks from her because that track stayed on Billboard for about 10 weeks, and they want the album. They're like, where's the album at? We need an album. And they've been working on stuff. Him and her had been working on stuff, and they were going to take what they had in. But it's like, okay, let me back up a little bit. During that time frame, he asked her to move in with him because she bought him a new piano. You pause. You and your God-ordained spouse, the type of relationship you're going to have, you're going to see things that whether it be that they need it or not, that whatever you have, even if they've given you the financial allowance, you're going to get them things because you see the creativity of them. You see the things that they have a heart for, and you're going to feed the heart of the things that they love. If they're an influencer, real estate agent, whatever it is that they love. I remember years ago, not years ago, it wasn't even years ago, it was last year, but I've been I might finish reading the book by Alicia Keys, where she was talking about on her husband's birthday, she knew that he liked race cars. So she set up a closing down of a series of streets that they were able to take a set of vehicles, nice cars, and go all the way from where they were down a series of roads to get to the next location, but they could speedway it, meaning they got the clearance that night to go at whatever speed they chose to and really just ride these cars. And that was her gift to her husband for his birthday. There are things that you're going to give these men that you see that they love it. And if you have the capability financially just to give it to them, you give it to them. And it's not even the fact, and it's just, and for them, it's not even the fact that it's a super expensive thing. It's going to be the gesture that's going to mean more. Because some of them, the counterfeits they had wasn't going to give them a dang thing. They the ones pouring everything out. But you're the one that sat there and you paid attention, you thought about it, you saw that this was a thing that they loved, you liked it, and you were like, let me get him this right quick. I know that he likes this. And it's just in your heart to do that anyway. You do that for people anyway. I used to have roommates that I'd buy stuff for them. I was like, I would ask them a very simple question. You like this? I knew I was about to go buy something for myself. I was like, you like this? They're like, yeah. I was like, what's your favorite this? And they're like, oh, they like this. I'd come back with it. And they were like, oh, you didn't have to do that. It's in your character. You're going to do that for your spouse anyway. It's you. So he's in there trying to figure out how you going to ask her to move in with him. God was here. Let me pause here. I've been seeing these videos, a lot of people, your God ordained spouses are going to court you. They're going to become engaged to you. But some of them, I've seen a couple people do videos like this. About 3 have done this. This may be the case for some of you. And if this is the case, what I said in the previous video, in the early part of this video, you're going to have to be very careful about. Because even Bold for Christ was saying this. If you're in courtship, no touching. If God tells this man to take you from where you are and he engages you, meaning he gets engaged to you, he proposes to you, but he takes you and moves you into a home with him while you plan the wedding. Listen to me carefully. Do not allow your emotions to get you to be jumping all over this man. No sex. Let me repeat that. No sex. Let me repeat that. No sex. Let me repeat that. No sex. 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 Now, the way that Keys to the Kingdom put it is, the place that he's going to put you in, if either he's going to put you separately, meaning he's going to put you in a separate apartment while y'all plan the wedding, until, if he has property like that, he can do that easily for you. Or he's going to put you in a home with him, meaning you're going to be setting up the house, you're going to be setting up your environment, you're going to be setting up your living condition while he's still working and doing what he has to do. But you're going to have tons of space between the two of you. Respect the space. Do not, and some of you it may be hard, if God puts you in the same space, you're going to have to find your boundary, especially when it comes to intimacy, because the more that you are in that intimate space, the more you're going to see them in a different light. You're going to fall for them in a different way. Now, if you married and you eloped and he pulled you in and moved you into a house, have at it. But if he moved you in and y'all just engaged, back up. I know this is y'all's place. You live here. Back up. Back up. Know your boundaries. Respect your boundaries. Yes, you won't be in heat. And some of y'all won't be in heat because they hot. Because what they're feeling, you're feeling. And if they are dealing with some emotional intimacy issues, because they're like, ooh, I'm in the same space with this person, and they feeling it, they just may not be saying it, but you feeling it because they feeling it, still back up. That's called, if the Lord allowed you to move in together, guess what? Test. Back up and separate yourselves, because you know. And the devil would love to get you to a point that you are almost to your wedding and get you to mess up that part because you started doing some sinful things just to cover yourself. No, you cannot touch yourselves. There's people out there sitting there saying, oh, it's okay. Okay, you want open doors for demons? Do that. Do that if you want to. You know what that is? That's a succubus. You'll open a door for a succubus. You'll open your door for a marine spirit. You'll open your door for a spirit spouse. All these spirit spouses, y'all done sat up there and broke off. And you're going to open up a door for a spirit spouse. Okay. You do that. This close to the wedding. I saw somebody did a post and I had to click out of it. I was so disgusted when they said up there and say, "Oh, it's okay as long as you're calling out your spouse's name." What did God say about masturbation? Go ahead, open that door for that spirit spouse if you want to. If you've never had an experience where a spirit was trying to put his hands on you, let me tell you, I can tell you some stories. Don't open doors for no spirit spouses, okay? I said all that because don't move in with that person unless you're married. And if you aren't married and you move in with that person, don't open doors. You sit with the Lord and say, "Lord, if the Lord is telling you that you can move in with this person, you sit with the Lord and say, you lay it before his altar, you do a 2-3 day fast, and you sit before him and say, is it going to be a good idea that we be moved in together if there's a potential? Do you really think that we can do this? That we might just need to elope?" Because I've been telling y'all over and over again, I've been saying Vegas all over the place. Vegas, 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 Vegas. I was listening to something randomly yesterday, and the person was talking about, I think it was a game show, and the person mentioned in Vegas. And then there's a TV show that my dad sometimes passes on, Vegas. The name of the show is Vegas. So some of y'all might not even have to worry about that because you just going straight to Vegas. You got a day's spouse has been, it's been beating over his head. He's like, "Look, we going right away. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Just go." Just go on in. All right. So, yeah, they end up moving in together. So, she's opening up her boxes and clearing out stuff, and she finds a letter. Let's open the childhood wounds. Some of you, either I told you, some of you know you adopted or weren't accepted by family. You have notes, you have letters, you got letters that you wrote in relation to. I know I had a copy of my book that had some letters in it. Some feelings that you may have had. You were candid in some of these places. You got to really let the Lord heal you and your God-ordained spouse. Some of y'all are being confronted with some childhood wounds in this season that you're in right now. It's the thing that's preventing you from being able to walk into certain relations and relationships right in this moment. Because God needs to pull that out right now. He needs to heal that before he pulls you into your marriage. Because guess what's next for y'all? When I tell you I've been hearing babies cry, remember the other day I was on the side where all the kids was. About an hour ago, I was sitting there and I heard a baby screaming in the other room. I was like, oh, and this has been like the past week where I've been hearing children, and I'm like, I've been seeing the Pampers commercials. I've been seeing newborn babies. The Pamper commercial where they had the newborn baby laying on the mother's chest. It's like, y'all, get ready. The babies are coming fast. This is why God's been like saying what he's been saying. Because of the fact. Be ready. Because some of y'all gonna go ahead, elope, get married, and you're gonna be very surprised at how fast it's gonna be like that you're going to have kids. You're going to look up And you just lay down with this man, and the next thing you know, that 3-5 months, you gonna look down and you have a belly that you ain't never had before. Some of y'all have never gained weight. You gonna see weight that you never had on your body, because guess what? That pregnancy is gonna hit you, and you're gonna be like, oh my God, I'm actually pregnant. You gonna be happy, they gonna be happy, but you're gonna have to be careful, because it's coming. Be careful of who you share it with. Be careful of how you operate in that pregnancy. Let the Lord lead. Pray, cover, give you wisdom on who to tell, how to tell them, and in which season and in which way, because you may have to tell people towards the end of your pregnancy, but use wisdom. What scripture is that with all of the sneezing? Oh, when some of the stuff looked dead. That's what it was. It looked dead, but it wasn't dead. Some of y'all in situations that scenario looks dead. Looks like none of this stuff gonna happen for you. But the prophet's gonna come and lay himself upon that body, and it will sneeze 7 times. And it wouldn't surprise me if that guy didn't sneeze 7 times. I would go back and listen to this and see if he sneezed 7 times. But yeah, getting back to what I was saying. He takes the music back to the A&R people, and they're like, we don't like none of this. Oh, and in relation to the mother issue, you want to deal with the mommy issue? She sang about it. Some of you have the gift and the skill that whatever it is that you do honors your parents. Whether it be you singing and you write music about them to get the catharticness out. You bake because your parents used to bake. Some of the stuff that impacted you because that's the influence that you have came from mom and daddy. But some of you got to get some of that emotion out. You know? She wrote a song. So when they took the music to the A&R, she was like, what about the song? It was too mopey. It was too sad. And because of the season that they were in this film, it was the 80s. They were like, they want high, jumpy dance tracks. They don't want that. So there are going to be people that are going to reject your emotions because they're like, oh, well, if you want this to work, it needs to be. See? So you're going to have to work carefully in that season. So I'm going to come back with the next part to this, and we'll see where we go from there. Okay?